everyone. Welcome to the INXO online talk series, Arts Beyond Distance. I'm Ijen. I'm from INXO Arts and Culture Foundation, and I'll be the moderator for consecutive 5 nights. So from 11 to 15 April, we are running this Arts Beyond Distance. We have invited 5 Malaysian artists, featuring one of them each of the evening, and they will talk to us about the motivation behind their creation, the process of creating a work, and challenges they face. We are very lucky today to have Chor Guan from Toccata Studio joining us. Hello, Chor Guan.
Hi, Ijen.
Would you like to introduce yourself? Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, my name is Chor Guan. I'm the artistic director of Toccata Studio. I'm also a composer, terminist, and also many roles. Yeah.
Right. So the music that we just heard in the beginning is one of Chor Guan's creation. What's that piece actually?
Oh, that piece is actually named Moving Sky.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually inspired by The Tinker by Rotan, the sculptor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually, I was wondering, what is this tinker actually doing while he's sitting down, and where he actually sitting at. So all this kind of research make me turn out to have this music. But also this music is also was composed during, I think, maybe 10 years ago for a dance theater piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if people want to listen to this, where could they find it? Is it available online or it's?
Yeah, there are some old stuff that I created that on Spotify that you could check out, and some later stuff like really live, like everyday life kind of thing that I posted on YouTube that you could check it out. Just
right.
type my name.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we will also share this information on the INXO Arts and Culture Foundation Facebook page. If you're following this live, it's the same channel that you follow. So after this 1 hour session, we will share all this information. You can check that out as well. So basically today we're going to talk, we want to get to know more or get to know better about you as an artist. So we're going to start this whole session with a 10 quick questions challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you can answer. It's very impulsive. It's with no explanation, just one word answer.
Okay.
Without too much thinking. It's very intuitive, and all these are improvised. So yeah. So for those who are following the live video, this is totally improvised because Chor Guan doesn't know what questions will come up.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Are we ready?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So question number 1. What time of the day is most inspirational for you?
5 a.m.
Question 2. What is your favorite city?
Kuala Lumpur.
Question number 3. Name 3 items you would bring to a time machine for time travel.
Sorry again.
Name 3 items you would bring to a time machine for time travel.
Durian. Bicycle. And therapy.
Right. Question number 4. What do you enjoy doing when you are not at work?
Sleeping.
Question 5. What is more difficult to give up, coffee or alcohol?
Nothing is hard.
Yeah. Question number 6. If you could be a magician, what spell would you like to make?
Stop the time machine.
Question 7. What would you do to battle climate change?
Be responsibility to yourself. Just be responsible.
Right. Question number 8. Are you a cat person or a dog person?
Both.
Question number 9. What is your favorite food?
Food. Banana.
Question number 10, that's the last one. What is the first thing you would like to do after the movement control order?
Yeah, meeting friends physically. Yeah.
Right, thank you. So that's all the 10 questions that we have. So you mentioned about your favorite city is Kuala Lumpur.
Yep.
As we understand, you're actually now trapped in Germany, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
So those of you who are following the live video, you can see there are a little bit of street scene in that screen that Chor Guan showed us out from the window. So would you like to share a little bit on the situation? How is the situation in Germany, and what is your experience during this whole period of the pandemic?
Yeah, of course, like in Europe or even in America now is having kind of critical situation. But I would say in Germany, I kind of feeling pretty safe in a way. Of course, I do also need to take care of everything that I do when I'm outside of the private house. So, but I could tell that people are kind of disciplined here. They behave it. And although there's not much people practicing like wearing masks here, but after WHO announced that masks actually kind of helps or useful, and people started to wear it, although it's not very common still. But I would say it here is not total lockdown. People still can go out with not more than 2 people or a household. Let's say if the house got 4 people, you still can go out with a household as a per household. So, but I think this is really like very self-discipline. You need to be really concerning about yourself and the others.
So do you still
And today is Easter, so it's not easy because there's a celebration. You need to kind of sacrifice, and you're not able to meeting your family. But I think this is a kind of practice as an excuse.
So you're still allowed to go on streets and go like outside and outdoor?
Yeah, I think you still can go out. I see people jogging, but only when you need it. Like even like I myself go out very less unless I really need to buy do some grocery shopping. And also because the rehearsal is still going on at my site, the creation. So because we are in a small group, which is just enough that we still can work. So we travel to the studio, rehearsal space. So yeah, we still manage to continue what we are doing.
So we spoke about what time of the day is most inspirational for you. So you mentioned like 5 a.m.
Yep.
So is that usually the time that you work, or?
Yeah, 5 a.m. is more like I would say my active time, my brain active. So especially when I'm creating a new work, I will usually wake up early, like 5 or even 4, to work. And then I think it's a moment that I got very silent environment that I could really hear every beat that I create. Even I can hear my vein and my heartbeat. So it's a kind of natural acoustic to me. So yeah, and then after I work for a bit, and then I could just go out and work out. So, and then I come back again and continue to work. So I think this time of the day is like, of course, in Malaysia, this time is at around 4, 5, 6, even 7 a.m. It's a great temperature. It's really nice to work.
So is that your usual routine, that you work like very early in the morning?
Yeah, if I'm working on my project. If not, I will have a longer sleep.
Yeah. So we actually request Chor Guan to pick a work of him and tell us stories about why creating the work and how was the process and what are the challenges he faced. So you selected this work called 2020 Timescaper. So is that a special reason or meaning of this word Timescaper? Because does that word actually exist, or?
Yeah, I think this word perhaps doesn't exist. It's because of this project. Me and my team from Toccata Studio, we came out with these words. It's kind of a combination of time and escaper or timescaper. So the idea actually is just coming from what we were doing, this project called 2020, called Project 2020, as you can hear what Ian said, 2020 Timescaper. So Project 2020, we started like in 2015. So every year we decided to create a work which is not in a particular form. So 2020 Timescaper is actually the last year that we created the piece. So it could be the last episode of the Project 2020. And Timescaper means the person who are traveling in the time. When they're looking out from the time machine, they see the timescape instead of the landscape. That's why the person is called Timescaper. And the person is actually the clones, because the Project 2020 is a kind of science fiction that we created. It's about 200 clones. They are traveling with a time machine, and they travel to a different time, and they didn't even know who are they, and somehow they meet at one point.
So you mentioned about Project 2020 and then the 2020 Timescaper. So how does this whole structure of the work being put together, what's the relationship between Project 2020 and the Timescaper?
So Project 2020 is like a big, it's like a project as we see, and it's a project that we doesn't have a fixed form. So we started with the sketch of like, because as myself, I compose, and I have we came up with this concept, and depends on every episode. We invite different people to be part of the project, and even we have scientists to be part of this project as well as non-performers like ordinary people that participate in the performance. So every year that we create a different topics, and the process of it is very interesting to me because it doesn't have a script, and the sound become the lead. The sound become like a script. It always started with the sketch of sound, of course, the concept first, and then the sound, and then we invite a collaborator into this project, and then we work on it. So ordinary people, including age of 7 to 60 years old, basically we don't really, it's more age concern. Like we invite different people in this, because we also, in this project, we also run a round table. So round table, we talk about social issue and then social relationship and stuff. So, and then from there, we also get participants to be part of this performance. And at one point in 2017, we also invited scientists into this project as well. We have physicists, aeronautic scientists, and also artists to be part of the project to create the work. So Timescaper is actually about, it's kind of like a final. I wouldn't say final, it's never a final until everything is putting together. Because these 5 episodes could actually blend into each other. It means, it's kind of like time is doesn't, because to us, time is always linear. We practice it in a way. But now in this concept of creating this work, time is fluidity. We can easily travel from time to time. could be physically, or it could be just the mind itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it seems there are quite a few different components that you involve artists, scientists, people from different background, and there were roundtable sessions, there were stage productions being created. Is that all under the Project 2020?
Yeah, it's like under the Project 2020 umbrella. Like they have
Mhm.
different. The first year we call it an arrival, where everything started. The clones and the time machine, and the clones are sent to a different time, the far past and the far future, and only left one in the present.
Mhm.
And then the second year is called I'm from 2020. In 2016, we named it the episode I'm from 2020. And then the third year is called the Futurist Diaries, where the scientists involved in this project. And then the fourth one which is the Timescaper.
So what did you find most unforgettable in this whole creation process? So it takes actually 5 years altogether by now.
Yeah.
It's a long, big project, and it's a long process.
Yeah, it's quite ambitious, I would say it. But we made it, and this is the year of 2020. But it's like a work that I mean, the most unforgettable experience is actually how beautiful when people work together from different field, from different perspective, from different professions. I think that's the beauty of it. This is why I'm so into theater making or into performance making, because it's I find like people and human being become so well-being. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So in this work, you mentioned about a narrative about clones. You mentioned a few times about clones, about time travel, about time machines. It's quite journey-like. So it is. We can see from a few photos that is shared earlier on the live video. That work was presented with like there were musicians. There were visual projections. So was there any language involved in the whole presenting of the production?
Basically, the work of Project 2020 doesn't have a very direct narrative, I would say. It's more like a sound-based and also visual. It's because of I would like to trigger the imagination of the people to link with the performance or the topics, because I find it is more powerful. And also we are now in the era of information era, data era. You can simply ask and get whatever information. But I find it the most important thing also, like, what is our personal imagination of particular things. So that's why it doesn't have very direct kind of narration, but it's more like I wouldn't say abstract, but it's a different way to trigger the sensory while you are listening or you're watching, or even you are on stage performing.
So we did a little bit of search, and we realized many of your work seems to be rooted in the topic of future. So what is your personal take on this relationship of arts and the human future?
Yeah, one thing that when I do running, I always realize that people would like to run anti-clockwise, but they never run clockwise. I mean, when you see a bunch of people, it also triggered me like, oh, people kind of looking forward to the back, going back to the past instead of going to the future. I mean, it gave me a mind of like, so what is future? What is future like? of course, I could say anything. I could portray whatever that I would like to foresee in the future, but it could not make sense when you don't have a collective ideas of what this future gonna look like. So I think creating a future is possible. It's because if we collect the more futurist thinking, I would say that we could see what is our future look like, and we will be more confident to go towards what we want. So future is, but of course, future doesn't exist because because once you are thinking the future, it might be already at the point. So so I always actually I'm not just obsessed about future, but actually I'm obsessed about traveling in time. But then what is future? Because the past could be the future of the past. So
yeah, I understand. Like you mentioned about time is linear earlier, because when we work with the concept of time is linear, then future is future. But when time is not linear, then future and the past and present, it's all mixed up, and it's not necessarily of what we understand as future per se.
Yeah, exactly. So it depends on how you put yourself as in the timeline and looking at the things. But I believe that the more ideas of future, the idea of everyone individual future, if the more that we could collect, we could actually see how the future would look like.
So that's what you believed in, arts creating the human's future.
Yeah, I always believe that arts create the future. Not, of course, not just art, but science as well. That's why art and science need to really like work together. Not on, of course, not only art and science, but also the people, the culture. If we could blend everything into one, we could get the best effects of it.
Yeah, this is what we get through the works that you share, because a lot of your work seems to cross the boundaries of arts and science, arts and technology. We understand that you play an instrument called theremin. That probably explain a lot about crossing boundaries between arts and technology. Would you maybe want to share a little bit about theremin, or?
Yeah. If you know that theremin is the very first electronic instrument in the world that was invented in 1918. So it's an instrument that doesn't have physical touch. At first point, I mean, as a music trained profession, I play instruments that always have physical touch, or even you have, like I play French horn before, and you have a mouthpiece attached to your mouth in order to create a sound. But the instrument's theremin doesn't have any physical contact. So it totally changed the perspective of playing the instrument. And the possibility is even more wild, because you could use the body to interact with the sound. And you also can use graphic to play with the sound. It totally changed the ideas of making music and playing music. And because I work a lot with dancers and physical mover, I feel like this actually give me a very big impact when I first see this instrument, theremin. And also, of course, it triggered my dream, because I want to be astronaut. So when I play this instrument, it's like I'm kind of like floating in the air. I'm totally using my whole body to express it.
For those of you who are interested, you can check out the video clip that Guan shares on his Facebook 2 days ago, or maybe yesterday. There's a short clip that he was playing on theremin together with a sape player. So that's the theremin that we are talking about. So that's the instruments that you play in the air, that you don't have any physical touch. So is this crossing boundaries of arts and technology? Where do you think this comes from? Because I understand you were trained as a composer. So where does this technology influence that comes, or crossing boundaries of art and science, where does this science side of you comes from?
I mean, we're living in the science, in the world that's full of technology, that we couldn't avoid it. And of course, like a lot of material of mine always inspired by the daily life, from nature to even like man-made kind of artificial stuff. So, but always people said that, I mean, when the mobile phone was firstly introduced, people always talk about, oh, the technology make people become more distant. But actually, I personally feel like it could be opposite way. Like how to use, by using all this technology to really like blend into our daily life in the right way, or in the even more effective way. So yeah.
Is there any examples that you have tried before using technology arts to cross this, to bring people closer?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like theremin, of course, is like very personal. I mean, I interact with the instrument with my body, but later on, like I was thinking that everyone has a mobile phone in our hand. Maybe some people have two. I have two. That's why you can see another screen over this side. So I think like phone is the most it's a device that we're having in our pocket, or in our we bring it everywhere, anytime. So it become part of our body. So I would like to use this to like create a work that to have this responsibility of music making by individual. So I think 2011 I created a work called Mobile Phone Orchestra, where people could use their phone to participate, and the work need to be the participants in order to make the work success. So then I see the result of how people, by using technology and blend together, get together, and find excuse to know people as well. So I really like, when I create a work, I would like to have this kind of human touch. So even like when you see a concert or a performance, a theater performance, you always have audience and they perform the stage like kind of separate. But I would actually like to, even they are separate, they could even still exchange and play together.
Yeah. So before we move on, coming back a little bit on Timescaper, did you get any feedback from audience, or before you actually stage the production, what is your expectation? Like, what do you want audience to take away from the work? And did you get any feedback that meet your expectations, or?
While I was creating this work at the very beginning stage, I did talk to a scientist about, do you believe, I mean, I questioned her about this, do you believe the time machine existing? And without a second, she replied, no. And I was like, really? I said, yes. So it started with this big conflict answer. So, but I told her about my idea of it's possible, but in a different form. I mean, not physically you travel in the time, but your mind could travel. For instance, while today you are listening to purely music, yeah, and then it brings you to the Malaysia of 60s. You could feel the atmosphere. You could feel how, and of course, from the lyrics itself, from the song itself, the music itself, you feel the atmosphere.
Mhm.
So it's a kind of time traveling, isn't it? Like when you're having this yeah, when you it's a kind of traveling to me.
Mhm.
But physically we are actually kind of traveling from a different time to different time, because we have time zone.
Yeah.
Of course, time zone, yeah. But anyway, when you travel from one place to one place, for instance, like from Malaysia to Germany, where I am now, the time travel, I mean, you spend around 12 and a half hours
Yeah.
without transit to travel to Germany. And then you get a 6 hours difference.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of now behind your time, Ijen. So
Yeah.
I'm like 6 hours behind you. So this is already time traveling.
Yeah.
So the time that you spend to travel 6 hours before is you need to spend about 12 and a half hours. But also you get a jet lag. So imagine now that we have this time machine that we could travel back to 6 years.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you will travel, of course, the time machine. So while you are arriving 6 years ago, perhaps you have kind of similar to jet lag. Maybe it's called time machine lag. I don't know. Yeah, this is a kind of time travel
Yeah.
to me. So I think this is possible. Or it could be someone is traveling from the past or the future to now or to the present, and he or she is actually beside me that I couldn't see because we have a different kind of frequency. So this timescape is not only talking about these time travels, but also I would like to bring people to feel how is time machine going to look like. Nobody actually travel in the time machine, but in this time machine, you could see what is happening. You could see how is outside of window that you could see while you're traveling. So this is all about imagination, and of course with research as well. Because this work, Picasso, no, not what's that? Suddenly couldn't think of the name. Some of the artwork, is it Picasso? No.
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh, yes, the Starry Night. The way that Van Gogh draw the Starry Nights, the methods that Van Gogh used is actually later, like five or few years later, when they have a telescope that could see the universe, they see a similar patterns where Van Gogh draw in his painting. So I mean, this is one of the example that actually triggered me that wow, artists actually have a view of future.
Yeah.
Just in order to combine the science fact.
Yeah.
Or sometimes we just need to put away from the science facts in order to like go really
Beyond.
beyond. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
when was this production being staged? Because we saw some photos of it earlier.
yeah,
Timescape.
yeah. The work was staged in Jakarta last year in November. Yes, but it was actually created and recorded with the string quartet from Munich, Paranormal String Quartet. And we were lucky that we get the support by Goethe to brought them to Malaysia to work with us. And then a year later on that we're able to premiere the work with the set, with the stage, with the visual. and it's more like a complete work that we premiered in Jakarta last year in Salihara.
Right. So is that the only ones you showed it on stage? Is there any plan to restage, or is there any chance for a Malaysian audience to see this work? Or
Yeah, of course, I would love to bring this time machine to a different places to show you what it is about. Yeah, so if you guys are interested, I mean, of course, you could always contact us to make this happen. But I really want to show this to, of course, to my Malaysian fellow.
So you mentioned about recording being made. So is that for the show, or is that we can like people can listen to that anywhere online?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a physical form. I mean, we have a physical form of this album, and then it's not just a show, but it also has this music going to be published. I mean, it's already done. It's just waiting for the printing and the physical making. It's just that now we are facing this also the issue that we couldn't print it out yet.
Yeah. So do you mean there will be, when you say physical form, there will be a CD being released of the music?
Yeah, there will be a CD, like classic CD. That will be you can get it, you can touch it. It's not like digital form.
Right. So more information you can get from, we will share the link later for those who are watching the videos. Yeah. So in this era when, you know, we talk a lot about distance and borders, especially during this RMO, the restricted movement order. So does that actually affected your work, or how do you cope with that?
Does it affect? Yes, for sure it affected, because I can't, there's so many things that I couldn't really like get closer. There's always a distance. Because I always believe that exchanging or chatting or even like working at the same place is rather important than by just using the tech stuff or the internet. So now we are actually going into a real virtual world. Welcome to 2020. So yeah, that's also make me to think about, I always keep things kind of positive, I would say it. So the restriction actually, is that a real restriction, or is that we need to figure out a new way to cope with it, to come up with some new way to create work. Yeah. So, but I really missed the moment that we could actually like
people coming together.
Yeah, this is still very important because this is how we grown up with. Maybe the kids grow up in this moment, maybe they might don't have the feeling of that.
But I think by nature as human are, you know, we tend to, we like that getting together feeling. And it is very different when you do it over like a device online.
The kind of warm feeling. Like now I couldn't feel the same temperature. Here is about maybe like 20 degrees today. But in Malaysia it's like I kind of forget about how 45 degree feels like. You know, you don't get sweat. It's a different feeling, you know, because when we are together, maybe I will do this, like because it's too sweaty and too humid. But that's the difference.
We have quite a few questions coming in from the audience. Okay, there's this question here. So you grew up in a multicultural country and you also travel a lot. Are you able to share how these experiences affect your creativity and your artistic direction?
Yes, I think the reason why I love Malaysia so much, which is, I mean, I'm not trying to sell my country, but because the way that we grew up in a multicultural environment, it makes me adapt things and tolerate also very quickly. It's like in our plate. It's so easy to, we don't feel that this is a problem at all. As, so I think that whenever you're traveling to a metropolitan city, it's almost the same, like a mix ethnic groups. So I feel like Malaysians are kind of well prepared for this one. And also because I commute by bicycle, it makes me feel like I'm so close to everyone. Even now I've been in Hamburg for, this is the 4th weeks. I don't even know. I never travel with U-Bahn and S-Bahn, the underground. So I don't even know where is the station is. But I get to see people, how people behave, how people drive, how people, I feel more about the environment in a way that by using my foot with the transportation of bicycle.
So there's another question coming. As your art form is more skewed towards electronic, how do you view about traditional arts in today's society?
Oh, actually, I'm very acoustic somehow. It's just that I would say my work are more electroacoustic in one hand. It's just that I need to travel with bicycle. I used to play French horn. I play a piano as well, but I couldn't bring this along. And sometimes also you have the restriction when you go to a place to perform, you don't have piano, you can't play anything. So the method of playing piano turned me into like playing objects, like collecting objects from a place. Then I turned it into a musical instrument somehow, the methods of playing. And go through the electronic, like to amplify it, or to like filter it and all sort of stuff to make it into perhaps to sounds that you never heard before, but it's actually created by things that's surrounding you. So and also because I couldn't actually, every time I travel I need to bring my bike itself, already one big thing. I couldn't bring the French horn that I used to play. So that's also made me think of shifting instrument from French horn to theremin at one point. And that's why perhaps because I play theremin and I play a lot of like computer music too.
Yeah.
That's why it feels like I'm more electronic musician or composer, but not really, because this time with Timescaper, the work you can see the 4 strings player, a string quartet was performed on stage. So I would like to see like how traditional instruments or acoustic instrument could blend with the electronic. It's like even our human today like has been used a lot of tech to implant with us, like mobile phone, like microphone, or to enhancement of the ear, hearing, or even people who get injury, you get a kind of replacement support. These are all like technology actually.
Yeah. I think this question is more towards how do you see this the electronic music or the contemporary stuff that you're creating? How does that cross over with, or is how these traditional arts the role in the society today with these two, the contemporary and the traditional? But you do work with traditional artists, traditional art forms and artists, do you?
Yeah, yes, I do. But I don't see things as traditional or contemporary or whatever. I mean, to me, it's more like blending.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's like cooking. No, you just put colors. You just put ingredients. You just mix of taste to create a dish. To me, I'm not really like concerning. Oh, today, I'm not obsessed to like whether traditional instrument and contemporary elements could kind of blend together. I think everything has its own beauty of it, but if you blend in the right way or blend in the right time, it just creates something even more beautiful. Yeah.
There's another question coming. How many other professional theremin players do you know in Asia?
Yeah, there are a few. I mean, I would say in Japan there are a community of theremin player. Other than that, I think most people are like treating it as a hobby. I would say it.
Yeah.
There are also kind of like community in Europe and in America.
Yeah, I think it's not really that common instrument that people play professionally. Right. Yeah. So it's mostly scattered in Europe, US, and Japan, right?
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's mostly hobby. It's not so much a professional playing. Yeah. Right. That's more. What is your inspiration in composing? So what motivates you to do what you do?
As I said earlier, I think daily life is something that it inspired me. Very small thing could actually inspire me. For instance, like while I was having a residency in Finland, I just bought a set of color pencil from a secondhand shop, and it turned out into a musical instrument in this Timescaper piece, where the musicians are using a different colors that's selected by them, and they play it on the strings. So this could be one of the inspiration of daily life, but it's kind of like collection, but you never know when will it be happen and when it will happen with the things that you collect. It's like ideas as well. It keep absorbing anything that's surrounding you. So even now that I'm talking to you, I might be thinking about like, oh, how actually audience perceiving and what's audience reaction. How nice if everyone can show up their face in this, and then I can see how they look like, and the kind of things. So this could happen actually, but I don't know when it could happen because it needs time to actually experiment it. So the inspiration comes from anytime and anywhere, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a few more. So any suggestions for local artists to work on in order to be noticed by the world or globally?
I'm not that well known, so I couldn't really suggest or give any advice about this. But I would say, of course, now we have online platform, but also now is a time that we have so much of things throwing into this online platform, the live especially. So to find a right community to start with, to go into it, to get people to know about what you're doing, and then from there, people kind of like linking up the community from community. Then maybe this is how to start to create your own sharing community. I would say.
Yeah. There's a tough one. Do you find your works contain any Malaysianness in it?
Wow. Yes, for sure. I'm Malaysian. I think the mix of tradition, contemporary, whatever, even the sound of the soundscape of the country, the language that we learn, the food that we hybrid. I think these are all like make me become a Malaysian artist that that I think is in the blood. It's really hard. It's like I created by just it's already there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I answer it?
Did you, I mean, is there any elements in, like, for example, in any of your works that you think it shows that Malaysianness of it?
How I would say like more. Perhaps I don't really highlight this, but I kind of put it in a very subtle way.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, like when you hear the sound in the market, of course, everyone needs market so much, huh? I will never travel to market anymore for now. I mean, when you stand in the middle of the market, you hear all kind of languages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if it's a Chinese community, you hear different dialects. Or even if we went to Pasar Malam, you hear different people speaking in their own language. Yeah. So this is something that it implant in my work. So sometimes you could hear, I mean, in music work, you could hear that you can hear a different instruments, maybe just a bit of pipa and a bit of sound of the environment, a bit of this Indian drums like tabla, or you could hear, but this maybe is not like very obvious, like, oh, this is pipa. It has been blended into the work itself, or even on the stage when you see a different ethnic groups that perform on stage because they have different background. Mm-hmm. That it create the unique taste of the work. For instance, like I'm from 2020, or even futurist studies, that where you see a different mix, or even different mix of profession on stage. So, of course, we always say that we use the term rojak to.
Yeah. Oops. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one more question from an audience here. Where to get your CD or your album? Where can I purchase it?
Where you can, I mean, you can, in digital, you can buy it, or you can listen from online. Just type the name Chor Guan. Or you can just write to Toccata Studio on my page that that you could get the physical CD.
Mm-hmm. One last one. What extent that the pandemic have affected the music community in Germany?
Like most of this theater, like state theater, they are also like doing online kind of performance, where you see a old opera house or like grand opera house without audience, and then you have musician playing just for the online audience, but not the audience that's sitting on the stage. So it seems like people are kind of like working at home at the same time by using the internet to do kind of crossover creation. A lot of like jamming session, I would say right now. Like people could invite people, although they never meet each other, but through sound and music that they communicate with each other. But of course, because myself not just only working with musicians, I work a lot also with different kind of form. So I myself also kind of creating a work that mix kind of blend all kind of elements, including visual like movements, into a new work. And yeah, so although everyone is working at home, I'm sure that everyone still have the same aim, because by creating artwork is always we're sharing the same aim, which is we share a same passion. We want to make a work better, no matter how.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're coming almost to the end. Would you like to share with us what is your artistic statement? So why do you become an artist, and how you think art influence the society growth? So what is your artistic statement?
Of course, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it, and know where your passion is. Don't give up easily, and keep sharing to people. No matter your friends or your family or whatever, they don't like it, keep sharing. No, but in a good way, I would say be sincere while you're creating your work. I think works that you create must have sincerity in it. That's the most important part. That's the essence of your creation. Say what you want to say. Just and then you get feedback, and then from there you also questioning yourself sometime, and then you respond it from your work. So sincerity is, I think, and the passion is the two keywords that actually drive a person to become who you want to be.
Yeah. So thank you very much for sharing with us today, Chor Guan. Thank you for those who are following the live video. Do remember to like and follow the Facebook page for more information, because we are running this consecutively 5 nights. So this is the second night. We have 3 more nights up until 15th of April. So please do log in again tomorrow night, same time at 8 p.m. Malaysia time. And you will catch up with more Malaysian artists with different art forms and artistic background, and know more about why they're becoming artists and how they create their work. So I wish all of you good health. So stay home, stay safe, and remember to wash your hands always. Yeah. So thank you very much, and hope you stay safe in Germany.
Thank you, Injen. Thank you, INSO, for organizing this.